MOUZ can play around him and really use his strengths as the stable, high-skilled mid laner he is, then I'll shift that edge back towards him. But to me, it's really dependent on this mid lane. Like, how much work does Abed get done, and how much can the team take advantage of his strength as a mid laner to propel them into a strong early mid game.
And for those of you guys who maybe don't know the MOUZ lineup, maybe you've only been paying attention to some of the LAN events and haven't gotten a chance to see the new MOUZ, that is Celery's new lineup. And I think it's funny because everybody, the hot topic is of course everybody talking about how all the Eastern European players are playing on a Western European qualifier, but MOUZ is actually more Southeast Asian than Eastern European, because they've got both Abed and Zeal on their lineup. So it is probably one of the most interesting rosters coming into this qualifier in that regard. Meanwhile, One Win is a fully Russian squad: Munkushi, Squad X, Triple S, Sweden Strong, Kasane. I think most people would probably recognize Sweden Strong, as he's been around the scene for a while. But if you've watched kind of like any of the like tier 2 tournaments in the last 4 or 5 years, you will have recognized all of these names. I think Triple S is the only player that I haven't seen personally play ever, so this will be a first for me.
Of course, they are representing CIS Dota here, which, if you go by the metric over the course of the year, has been the strongest region, especially going into this later second half. So they have that going for them, right? You come from a region that is on the up, is dominating the boards right now, and you get to scrim against all those teams. You get to practice in that region. You get to play pubs against these guys. So that's another nice upside for them as they go into the second half of the year. But already, we saw this earlier today, the Death Prophet makes another appearance. Did not work out for Virtus Pro last game, and if you looked at the draft in that game and what happened, this DP pick got really abused down the stretch in terms of the core matchups, and there was just nowhere to go on the map, nowhere to go in the fights where this hero had good interactions going for her. Ended up playing against Sniper and Terrorblade, two of like the worst core matchups for this hero in the game. And at the same time, you have to worry about the support matchups for this hero, because AA's in the meta. We see that banned out here. Shadow Demon's in the meta, another pretty bad matchup. Some of these long range supports like the Dark Willow, that One Win pick up already, pretty bad matchups for the DP. I don't doubt this DP strength. I think this hero is a justifiable early pick, because this hero is incredibly good and it can go to a bunch of different roles. But it has one big weakness, which is when it plays into these lineups that outrange her, that out control her from a distance, and she can't get the gap close early on, she really suffers, and she can just go down early and feel pretty useless.
What do you think about the newer build that we're seeing on the Death Prophet? People are really trying to use the Aghanim Scepter a lot more. I did not believe in it when I first saw it, I'll put it that way.
There was a guy who was doing this Ag's Rush build a long time ago out of China, and I forgot who it was, and he just went like brown boot Ags. It was when DP was an offlaner, and he would just run people down with it. I don't know if that's somehow coming back. I'm not sure I believe in this Ags build too much. I think, honestly, for me, the hero is more about what you get done with Exo rather than like item timings. I think she uses items well, and of course you want to get tanky on this hero, but it's more important to land siphons in the fights. It's more important to get good value out of the exorcism. If a Yules helps you do that, awesome. If some early, like, Kaya build up, Kaya Sanj, Kaya Yasha, like we used to see, helps you do that, cool. If you're trying to get earlier Shivas in the game, or Lotus, or you're just going to tank up with Crimson Guard like we've seen on some of these offlane DPs, whatever keeps you alive and lets you use your spells generally is what ends up being the best item build for this hero, because it's just all about the siphons and the ult. Enchantress, another support that is pretty annoying for this hero to play into. Super long range damage, and a hero that we have not seen a lot lately, but is like one of Celery's powerhouse heroes, so maybe they're stealing it a little bit here too.
Yeah, I did think that was pretty funny that they're willing to just take it away from the one guy who is probably willing to play Enchantress right now, and seeing as there's not too many, but instead he's playing perhaps an even more forgotten hero, pulling back the Witch Doctor.
God damn.
I didn't know that this hero was still a thing, to be honest. We had some changes to it. There was that new facet. I highly doubt that new facet is the reason it's being picked, but that's interesting.
I mean, when you got to play the Doctor, you got to play the Doctor. Now, this is a hero that Celery is familiar with from those Gaming Gladiators days, but it was predominantly working for them in the off lane. with like that soft support flex, and here it just instantly get abused. I mean, you just puck into this. This is a very scary puck pick right now because you already are showing both supports. Neither has a really good insta stun or way to really stop this guy in the fight. This is kind of the downside of Witch Doctor. He does a little bit of everything, but nothing at a top tier level. Like if you want to stun, you're better off with the Shaman type hero. If you want team fight, you're better off with some Warlock Undying. If you want kill power, you're probably better off with some of these roaming 4 melee heroes that can set ganks up because he doesn't have gap close. He's not good at setting it up. He's kind of just a little bit of everything in terms of follow-up, which is why I think we don't see him in the pro scene a lot. You want these heroes that excel in certain areas more than jack of all trades, and I think that's Witch Doctor's biggest weakness. So we'll see if OneWin can take advantage of it, but it is a cool hero to see, and I do want to note that this hero has one of the highest pub win rates right now. Like this is a pub destroyer this is the Death Star of pubs right now. So you do have to respect that a little bit. I mean, it does point to his spells being strong when you can make them work. How much of that you can translate to a pro game versus a pub game, we will find out here. But the hero spells, you do have to respect it.
I don't know how much I believe in the new Maledict facet, but when they made paralyzing cast from the jump now bounce 3 times instead of 2, like that just sounds amazing, right? And then they're like, oh yeah, and you also get the 20 extra damage per bounce. Now you can't farm as well on creeps, but I think most supports would take that trade-off, right? The possibility of being able to do more hero damage versus, you know, the clearing out a creep wave with your 5 position.
And this is, I think, biggest thing is Celery's response to the Enchantress. He knows that hero through and through, so he's just trying to take this Ench off the map a little bit more, put the ult into her, kill her a few times, slow down the momentum. This Terrorblade pick, yeah, I mean, it works here, right? I think MOUZ's lineup it's pretty well rounded. It's strong. It's going to kill Roche super fast. It has a lot of single target physical burst between Terrorblade, Tusk, and this Exo going through, and a Death Ward, I guess. Like a huge amount of physical damage going in here. So if you're OneWin, you really got to think about, can we get some armor somewhere? Can we get ice armor off the Doom? Can we get early Shivas or AC somewhere in this lineup, depending on what your carry hero is? And that carry hero is likely going to have to tank a lot of damage here. So if he's physically strong, it's going to go a long way. The puck can dodge some of this and help you scale, but you are going to need someone to help you do objectives here. And that pick is not easy when you're going against this much physical in the lineup. So a lot of pressure on their last pick there, whereas MOUZ just kind of probably looking for some initiation, some more team fight if they can get it, and decide where they want to throw this Death Prophet, because now it is a very hard Death Prophet game. And this is kind of the problem that happens when you first pick this hero. Like now you're against a bunch of long-range artillery heroes and a Doom, so you can't really stay on the outskirts of the fight because your spells don't do anything. And if you go in the middle of the fight, you're likely going to get coiled doomed here. It feels bad for the DP right now.
Yeah, I do think this is probably the toughest carry to lane against right now. Doom, I mean, this guy's just a laning monster, right? 0-2-1, it feels like it's impossible to beat this hero in lane. So if you have any kind of proficient support behind it, and add on top of the fact that in the safe lane position that a lot of these Dooms are being run, you have more room down the lane to run down heroes, getting more Scorched Earth damage. You add an Enchantress on top of that, which is traditionally a relatively strong laning support. I do wish MOUZ the best of luck with their offlane, but fortunately it's a Death Prophet that is probably better suited to deal with it than most.
If I'm MOUZ, I'm definitely throwing this DP Tusk up there, because I think the DP's game is already rough. Just let him buy some ores, buy Pipe Crimson, whatever. His game is rough, but he can contribute to the fight, tank that bad lane, and then just get some really solid mid here. And they will do that with this Tiny, which is good matchup versus the puck. It's an Abed classic. Gives you some more scale here as well. Another target you kind of want to Doom, but at the same time you don't want to Doom. So now you have to pick between this Tiny and DP. In terms of who you're going on, and yeah, it's a good carry Doom game, but I also feel like this Ursa pick is pretty tempting. We've seen this hero go pretty ham in the last month, and I feel like it gives you the quick Roshan kill, and it gives you some good core matchups here. If you're not going that route and you want another offlaner, I mean, there's Underlord in the pool. It's a pretty good Underlord game, but you are against Witch Doctor Tusk, which is a pretty rough support duo to go into. But that's going to be the case for a lot of these tanky offlane boys, is you don't want to play into Witch Doctor Tusk here as any of these big beefy guys. So what are you really going to get in the offlane that's scary? Like, are you going to go some cheese route with Veno or some, you know, Enigma, crazy stuff like this? You can, but that you have like no front line in this draft. That's
the important part is that trend-wise, anyways, both teams went into their final pickup with flex, right? Both of them had this potential offlane situation that maybe the Death Prophet could have been mid, and the Doom could be safe lane, and they may decide to flex it into the offlane here.
I mean, if you're first picking Death Prophet and you don't flex it, it's like you're just losing the whole point of this hero right now.
Do you think it has flex potentials in this patch as a support as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's always a viable support when it's viable. Because again, you're predominantly putting it there when you're trying to get another really good clutch pick down the road. Like, that's the value of it. So it doesn't have to overperform from its role. It just has to do okay on lane. And one win, they will go the carrier out here. Felt like they needed some more oomph in this lineup. I kind of agreed with this. I was thinking the Ursa, the Morphling will do similar things here. It does give you, you know, some true one position carry potential, good matchup versus the TB, some single target burst damage to come through on this DP if you ever lock him down in the coil. I mean, your lane's still strong, right? Even if it is this DP Tusk up there, that can be a scary lane for a lot of carries, but you have mobility with the Morphling, you can stand your ground. I think one win are looking pretty strong in this laning phase between the Doom and the Morphling on the side lanes, and there's going to be some pressure on MOUZ to get something done with this support duo. Like, I think if you can combine the Tusk and the Witch Doctor with some clutch ganks, go through the gate, classic celery gameplay, that's how you want to use this hero. And he does have some openings to do that. They're just going to be difficult to hit, and you have to line them up well.
Okay, so when it comes to favoring just purely from a draft perspective, you do have a favorite?
I do like one wins draft here. I would favor them, but I will say I feel like the execution for MOUZ is a lot more straightforward. Like with this tiny Terrorblade, like just get the Terrorblade farm. If Abed has a good game, he's just going to jump stun anybody. There's not a lot of people that one would want to put up there that are going to tank the tiny combo. Like your Puck doesn't want to tank it. Your supports don't want to tank it. Your Morphling doesn't want to tank it until way later in the game. Like your Doom can kind of tank it, but you know, he ideally wants to be starting fights on his terms. So I think this tiny is going to cause them some issues, and that makes the level of execution easy for MOUZ. But I do like what one would have, and I think they're going to scale really well.
Okay. It does also look like the Witch Doctor did go that Maledict facet. I mean, both facets are honestly not that. I don't think either facet is like super interesting compared to what was before, where it's like, oh yeah, the cast facet is like super strong, and if you're playing around cast a lot, that's going to be the better one. Like, I felt like before Witch Doctor's facets were more impactful, let's say, but you know, again, they wrapped up some of that facet now into the basic of the hero, like the fact that the cast does more damage over time. So for those of you guys who haven't seen this one, the malpractice facet, enemies who die while cursed deal damage equal to 75% of what the next burst damage would be to all enemy units in an 800 radius. So instead of just like, if you can actually kill somebody and they had a lot of Maledict stacks on them, then they can actually do a big burst of damage to everybody else instead. So
a little caustic finale action, you know, you can get it working.
It was like, for me, it was like caustic finale mixed with fatal bonds is how I thought about it.
And it always goes off, is my understanding of this spell. Like, as long as you have Maledict on you, you will always get the last Hicks burst. So it is a reliable facet if you're killing people, but if you can't kill anybody, then it's a dead facet. And I feel like that's kind of Witch Doctor in a nutshell anyway. Like, you're either killing people or you're not, and if you're not, this hero feels pretty bad, unless you're going the heal build. That is not a build we've seen on support in a long time, as shards come out from Eki.
No.
Oh
Not
no!
good enough, though.
You leveled up shards for one and haven't gotten the kill, and you gave up
might die here.
runes, and you're not even gonna win this fight because it's an ambush from the high ground. Though asking you to do some work here, but cut or Dream is almost already dead, and he gets the final swing at him from Triple S. Kasani still had a fairy fire to work with. He does get blocked in by Aki, so Aki will collect a kill, but the big bounty is already taken. First blood is claimed, and all in all, I think MOUZ are very happy with, or excuse me, One Win is very happy with their setup of the game.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, 3 runes, first blood for a Doom. You get it on the enemy carry as well. Extra demoralization there. Some XP to boot. Super happy with that exchange. And this will also give a pull down bottom for MOUZ. I guess that's like the one upside. They get equilibrium down here against this Morphling lane. It's kind of nice. We see Eke doing another pull. He's going to lose the range on that. Feels a little bad. But, I mean, that is the light first Enchantress. Pretty tough hero to get the equilibrium against early. But still in a pretty good spot overall.
Do you just always throw as many sentries in the lane as possible?
I used to, but I feel like it's pretty hard to stop it early now with so many camps. I think you can go for some small camp blocks. I think that's the one that can be valuable in the first few minutes because you want to set this lane up well. But after that, I'd rather invest the gold in like regen and trade with her and free up the lane more for my core than just try and waste time going for all these blocks, you know? Like, you also have to consider the downside of just committing all of your time down here as a 4 versus what you can get done on the map, particularly in a support duo like this, where you do have a lot of kill threat and you want to be applying that kill threat as much as possible. He will lose another sentry. And sentry battle not going well for him as Squad X feeling the pain in this matchup, that is for sure. This is a matchup I 100% know Abed has probably played close to 50 plus times, like at least. I mean, this is a matchup that I felt like got played every other game in NA for like 3 years between him and Quinn and, you know, him and all the other mids. So he is very comfortable in this matchup in particular.
I thought that was a bug. I thought it was a bug. I thought somebody had already taken it. I was like, that's a funny bug. That's so funny. They never took that bounty route. Did Abed intentionally? There's no way you intentionally left that for more bottle charges, right?
There's no way, especially versus Puck. He can just orb and take it, right? If he saw it was there. He just didn't see it. Also, like if you, oh, look at that damage, man. But if you look at this ward on the bottom cliff, it doesn't see that rune because of the tree. Like, that 2 trees block it, so he actually just didn't see it. Kind of unlucky, to be honest, but I don't know why you would be thinking it was still there, right?
That's funny, man. I mean, it works out really well for Abed. You got extra, extra value out of his bottle.
Next level for him. I mean, he is completely full resources now. Pretty nice turn of events. A little hill troll action, but some of the strong creeps were denied early here for Kasane. I'll have to decide if he wants to linger down here or make that rotation potentially top, because this is a battle lane for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I never feel good about battling against a Doom in lane right now. Nobody goes Devour, everybody goes 2 levels of Scorched Earth. It's just tough to beat. But Kasane does end up going down to the bottom lane. Mankushi is ultimately still free farming, though. So I think the situation is probably fine.
I mean, if I'm Kasane, I kind of want to get out of it here, to be honest. Like, this lane is not too fun for him. He's not exerting any sort of aggressive pressure. You can gank top for free in this game. Like, this Terrorblade's super susceptible. Witch Doctor's not going to defend him against a good creep dive. He's probably waiting for the level 3. And that's when we'll see some potential of this. You also have meta down up here, so that window is very open. You just want to go up here and look for the quick 2 kills. And I think that is worth it over helping the Morph a little bit in this early game. Like, I think Morph can always recover in this game. He doesn't need the greatest start here. Shutting down Terrorblade really hurts MOUZ, because he needs to have a good presence in the fight. Especially if he falls behind, then your Doom targets become easier. You just Doom this tiny, kill him, then where's your damage in the fight? Particularly if the Death Prophet gets kited. I feel like MOUZ are a little more dependent on this Terrorblade than One Win are on the Morphling, which might shift my presence up here. But we'll see what Kastani decides to do. Securing your carry farm is never a bad option.
Well, it seems like
TV
we're
top.
going to be chilling out for a little bit here. I figure all the action is probably going to be in this top lane, but they go after and trap the Dark Willow, which that's just an easy Shadow Realm TP out, so no big deal. And the creep wave is pushing in, so it's not like they can really punish the Doom too much and zone him out of lane, unless they're willing to try and dive this tower, which is extremely unlikely. He's already cleared out the creeps. 30 seconds until our first power rune, and in the matchup of Puck versus Tiny, that is always going to be a very important part of the game, so expecting to see some support rotations there. But Kasane pops back out in top lane, doing some damage to Celery, but there's no way he's going to do anything here.
Oh, that was awkward. If he's there like 15 seconds earlier when they go up to that tier 1, I think that's an easy Terrorblade kill. You run him down the lane. And just a little off on that window, and now you miss contesting the power rune. You do win it anyway. Squad X will get a very nice arcane. And is Abed quite sad about that?
Yeah, expect to see him make some sort of rotation. Hell, just TPing up to top, perhaps.
The lane's up. If the lane's up, yeah, you can look for sure. But just these 3 heroes up there is pretty tough for MOUZ to contest. You just don't have that good of early damage sources to enable this Maledict right now. Like, you have 2 points Maledict cask, but what are you throwing in on top of this Maledict to actually get it to work? You need the Tiny, feels like, or some really good tag team connection. There's another way you can do it. But the tag team connection's risky into this Doom. He just beats your ass back, and we are seeing the struggle right now of this MOUZ support duo trying to find kills on the map.
It does definitely look like between the Puck's power early before Tiny has Blink Dagger and the Doom being such a potent force, the support's giving a better rotation, but Triple S is in trouble here, and it looks like he is probably going to go down. Snowball helps set it up, but here comes the coil. Now the punish. Squadix is a little bit low, though. He can't just all in right away. He's got to play the margins here, and
nice
he
Bramble.
will. Very nice Bramble. Gets the catch onto the Terrorblade, so that's 2 down. A third available, but the TP out from Tusk is successful. So, yeah, it just looks to be like one win for at least this maybe next 5 minutes or something like that, are likely going to be out fighting MOUZ, and I feel like the result is it's hard to pressure Morphling. I don't know how much MOUZ is going to get done elsewhere on the map. Like, they're going to lose the safe lane tower, but I don't know if there was an option to, take bottom tower in return.
Just a difference in the 2 carries and where their power points are in the game. This Terrorblade is way more susceptible to the early skirmishing than the Morphling is. And we're seeing it right now. The Morphling's pulling ahead in XP. It's like 2 levels ahead because he's getting solo time. He's not getting killed. This tower top dies, so he has to go in the jungle here. Has no choice, really. Can't stand on lane when this arcane Puck is still zooming around up top, has coil back up already. A lot of pressure on the map. And the question for MOUZ is, where are you going to get a trade-off? Is it this Exorcism bottom? Because right now, Zeal, he wants to get something done with it. Has a couple of the ghosts picked up off of the Spirit Collector. Would love to claim this tower. And this is kind of a big question for one win in this game, is how much do you commit to defend against the Exos, or do you just look for trades if you're farming this Morphling? It seems like they're just going to give it up.
I think you could just entirely shut the game down by risking fighting into that Death Prophet, right? The game's just over for MOUZ. I think if you manage to keep the Death Prophet down, but I like the fact they're not taking the risk. It's like not worth it. You already got what you wanted out of top. Continue to keep the Terrorblade down. They're going to go after Kasane in the mid lane now, but the coil is there, and Kasane doesn't end up going down. So I thought it was going to be 1-for-1 support trade-off. Instead, it's a 1 for nothing.
I mean, now they're really happy making that decision, because if you don't defend against the DP, then yeah, you have to get at least something on the map, and they find something. Another terrible kill. Cut. Still level 5. You get more experience in gold for your Puck, which is the best hero to get it on in this game. Like, this is a very scary hero to go up late game here as MOUZ with your limited stun potential outside of that Tiny. So this is looking pretty solid for one win, considering they gave the free tower for the Exo. And yeah, that's the power Doom in the laning phase. This hero just takes too much to bring down. I think Tiny's very similar. Like, Abed has not really been challenged at all in this early. That said, he's also 0-0-0. So he's not making a lot happen for the team right now either.
Trying to secure power rune, ends up being bought on pull supports denied the shield rune. Apparently, they managed to pull that off. Well done.
That like I don't know if it's a bug per se, but that thing's existed in the game for a while now.
Yeah, how many times have they seen
right
a
here.
rune get quote unquote denied, but it actually is picked up by somebody in their bottle? Yeah.
There's probably some reason that code still exists. And Valve's like, I'm not gonna fix it, you know.
Ooh, HP. Damn, that was close.
Belt to strength, saving lives.
I guess so.
Only 1 point in that heal, so he is a little susceptible to getting run down like that. But the upside is you have 3 points in this enchant, and this spell is it's just nasty for MOUZ's course to deal with if he can land it in the fight. Like if you can land a good enchant on this DP or Tiny or something, it can absolutely just kill him in the middle of the skirmish.
Right. Still a ways away from Blink Dagger too, so it's still gonna be a while until Abed really comes online for the squad. Little two-man smoke up from MOUZ. Anyway. They're gonna move without him. The two supports rotating down to bottom lane to I assume meet up with the Death Prophet and try and make use of Exorcism. Again, this hero is difficult to kill, but they do have the ward now, so that makes a big difference.
We got Croaker from the Enchanted Croaker. That's kind of funny. Not
actually a sick pickup for Enchantress. I forgot. Obviously, we haven't seen too much of Chen and Enchantress since the Croakers were added in, but those are good creeps to have.
That's a nice spell. Does some decent damage. You get that aura as well.
Yeah.
And they just have decent stats early on. Like Sting has, 1300 HP. Finally, Abed though finds something in this game, and that is big. This Tiny can heat up pretty fast here going into this mid game. Like he's your big driving force. He would love a power rune here as well, and he will get it. Nice little regen. This Tiny's
spotted again. This time doesn't get the shards on him. Oh, and it's so bad. Death Prophet shows up. So immediately got doomed. That is the worst case scenario for MOUZ.
That is just an overstep by Zeal. Like you gotta respect where these heroes can be on the map, particularly this Doom, when you're exoing into these towers, and you did not have the proper backup to get a good trade out of that. Just right into this Blade Mail Doom's hands, which by the way, that's even more insult to injury here. Is like you're playing in a Doom, he goes Blade Mail, he has Chipped Vest, he has Cloak Aura. This guy's insanely tanky.
your Spirit Siphon, it can't heal you if you get it off before Doom. He stops that healing. You're taking as much damage as he is from the Blade Mail, and that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't see a good way for Zeal to force these towers down. I think you got the bottom one, sure, but this mid towers, you're gonna have to make a smoke gank, get some sort of lead off, position him well.
Yeah. Now this is part of the reason why people are enjoying this Aghanim Scepter, right? You get Tread's Aghanim Scepter and you get the 10 talent, which is 40 attack speed, which is, I think that's a pretty hefty amount for just a 10 talent. And it makes the hero more independent from your Exorcism cooldown. So,
you also just farm a lot faster.
Yeah, that's also true.
You just right click down camps.
On the jungle here, and we're really to run. He's locked in and quickly killed. Dream gets the extra bit of gold as he continues to farm his way through the jungle, desperately trying to catch up to the cores of One Wind right now, but there is still quite a gap between him and even the Puck, who's sitting in third place. The Doom and the Morphling are just about to break 7k.
And you just got that amp damage. That would have been a massive rune for both teams here. But I think One Wind are a lot happier taking it away from the Tiny.
They're just running it back at the mid tower.
And Doom's up in 10. This is not a guaranteed free push in terms of the cooldowns, and One can absolutely bring Munkushi over. His Morphling is strong. With Vlad's Yasha already done. Amp damage on the Puck. This is not the fight to take right now, I think. Especially just head up. Maybe if you got some good angle. Sure, but this feels a little forced. Maybe they just want a reaction out on the map. That's fine.
Yeah, they honestly did not get much of a reaction. They pulled 4 heroes there, but the Morphling was farming the entire time. So it was a 4 versus 5. You pulled your Terrorblade off of his jungle farm, used his meta, and you didn't get that mid tower, nor did you pull the stop the Morphling from farming.
You didn't stop the Doom either. SSS is just, he's cruising up the chart here. Quick smoke on this puck with the amp damage. They're kind of looking towards him up here, thinking that MOUZ are going to make a move onto the Doom.
Yeah.
But that's not happening, honestly. It's been kind of a quiet game from this mid-tiny. MOUZ not making a lot of smoke ganks with Abed. I think he did get the worst end of the power runes. Like, he got the less aggressive power runes. Didn't get the amp damage, didn't get the arcane, didn't get the haste, but still gotta look for something with this blink dagger.
Yeah, and his illusion rune was 2 damage shy of getting the enchantress kill, so it didn't even.
Yeah, that also hurt.
And amp damage definitely would have gotten him that kill.
Oh man, if they could find somebody up here, it's massive, but they're just gonna miss everybody, it looks like.
Yeah, somehow managed to split between the Puck Dark Willow duo and the Doom. Maybe they could still find Doom. Triple S is going to come back to this wave. There is the gank coming in from behind. They get the avalanche toss back onto Triple S, and they do some good damage. Manage to stop the ult there. So Triple S is probably going to live, and it's going to be the terrible run down from behind. Very nice setup.
His Doom is...
the Doom did end up going down, so at least they got a trade-off of cores there. That was barely enough damage to get that.
I'm surprised he went down. If he had the Cloak Aura from earlier, he might have lived, but that Urn Tick on top of the Maledic, enough to bring him down. There's a lot of damage in this early game. You have to respect it. That said, I mean, are one win that sad about this? That was a heavy committal smoke. He ended up killing the Terrorblade again as a result. Pretty easily. Not the worst outcome. That said, MOUZ are going to hit a pretty nice window here where this Ags on the Death Prophet is done. The Tiny is being activated right now. This is what you want.
Got the kill on Kasane. There you could see the Maledic facet, the AoE damage it did.
So they're kind of online. Like, this lineup is ready to rock and roll. They're ready to take fights that feed into objectives. That's the dream for Zeal right here. Has 6 spirits collected on the collector as well. Level 2 Exo up. He just hit level 12 with this Ags done. This is one of DP's best timings in the game, if you can get a fight out of it. Like, you have 2,000 HP, you have your attack speed, you have your Ags, you have your Exo just leveled, you have spirits. There's nothing more you're waiting for right now. It's time to get something done with it. And ideally, you get a fight into tier 1 mid, into Roche. That would be the biggest prize on the map right now. So I would not be surprised if we see MOUZ go for the smoke play. Just bring everybody into this. Try and find the opening off of Abed.
To be doomed up, terrorized in from the side, all in to try and kill the Death Prophet. Good save from the snowball, but the Death Prophet is still in a bad situation. Abed tried to come in. I think he was going for a defensive toss play, but found nothing. Immediately got silenced up and will not be able to do much there. So it's just the Death Prophet death. Looks like the Tusk is actually going to join her in death as well. So very nice response from one win. Good setup. Nice pick off on Sweet and Strong. At least Abed got something out of this situation. As long as he can get out. I was wondering where the silence came from. Munkushi, nice play by him. Turned it to Death Prophet. Must have thrown out the silence to stop Abed. He tried to go in. If Abed still dies, though, looks like he may just get run down as these mobile heroes. There's no tier 1 tower to save him. There's no allies to help him out. It's a third kill going to 1 win.
That's huge. The fact that you can jump the DP first and doom him, that's just a guaranteed 1 fight. Unless you somehow get him out and he can re-engage, which just, there's not enough utility early on here. There's no glimmers or 4 stabs or anything. You're in big trouble. And that's just a nice jump. Nice recognition from 1 win. That was even with the coil being dodged on the snowball from Eki. Which is like best case scenario to try and disengage, is you just dodge the 1 spell that locks you in. You still can't get out. Tough fight once that DP gets doomed, and we're just seeing the draft set up right now. It's about who jumps who first, and if the Tiny's not jumping, it probably means you're getting jumped. And yeah, Munkushi with some big plays off the Death Prophet spell steals. Scary spells to give away, but nothing you can really do about it.
Theory crafting it out, I could see a world where Tiny gets the initiation, he gets a toss back into Death Prophet. Death Prophet gets a free like activating of Exorcism and Spirit Siphon, and then you try and go in after that. Like the Doom maybe doesn't feel like it's enough to kill the Death Prophet quickly. Exorcism does a bunch of damage, and you know there's actually a world where MOUZ can win with this setup, but we're just not seeing it.
He's gonna get doomed again.
Getting doomed again. He does have his team behind him here, but again, same situation. There isn't enough utility to save the Death Prophet. There's only the snowball if you get it off. Didn't get it off this time around, and even when he comes back from the snowball, as you said, there's no Glimmer Capes Force Staffs to actually get him out of the situation that he's in. Snowball is just a temporary reprieve.
Especially if you get coiled on, like that was a coil silence on the Tusk and the DP. You're especially screwed then. This Tusk is your best chance to somehow disengage. I still just don't like how MOUZ are playing this. Like the game is not an easy Death Prophet game by any means. It's not as if you expect Zeal to survive every fight and own them, but you have to set the fight up in a way where if you're baiting him like this and you know he's going to potentially just get jumped and doomed, that you're ready to take the fight with the tiny Terrorblade to get something out of the exchange. Because right now you're just giving him up for free, and this has happened 2 times in a row right now at very pivotal points around these objective timings. You're just going to Exo really to try and take this Roche, but
yeah, you were setting up the team fights into Roshan, and funny enough, one win won the team fight, but then win for Tormentor. In turn, MOUZ try and take the Roshan. Terrorize. Ooh, is he gonna throw it out? The ball backed out of the pit. They jump inside the pit on the puck. See nothing there. Zeal is now gonna go back to committing. The Exorcism is bringing the Roshan low.
He has to commit here. Exo's running out, but like, you gotta get the fight right now.
They are able to get the Roshan, get the Aegis. Terrorize is gonna land onto the Terrorblade and the Death Prophet. Death Prophet trying to blow her up here before the heals come back into play, but it is just enough damage. No heals out for the Exorcism return. Triple S does get caught as a beautiful Death Ward goes out from Celery. Very nice damage, but ultimately it's one win, winning out in the situation, and Dream has to think about walking away.
I gotta respect the Terrorblade damage here. But ultimately, man, that Doom, he just soaks up so much attention and damage in the fight and reflects so much with this Blade Mail. Had a BKB for that as well, had Ice Armor. Just a tough target for MOUZ to bring down. And Zeal gets popped again. I mean, that's the name of this game, is even without Doom, this Death Prophet just gets shredded in the pit. Not a fun place to fight versus the Dark Willow. Like, you got terrorized, brambled around this pit. It's pretty brutal. Did get a nice toss on this Morphling, kind of took Munkushi out of the fight as he's got to morph up a little bit, and that Maledict pop on the Doom was actually pretty juicy. Hit everybody around there. Some nice facet action.
Celery kind of showing off the Witch Doctor between the Maledict facet actually being successful and him getting off a full Death Ward. I mean, he was half the damage that MOUZ threw out in that team fight, so
he definitely did some work, which is, I mean, it's what you need from this hero, because he's not giving you direct utility that's going to pay out your cores, so he's got to provide some impact of his own, and he'll deliver it there. I think now you got to look towards this Blade Funeki on the Tusk and the BKB on the Death Prophet, and then you're looking to fight again, because you still have this Aegis for a while. 3 minutes left, enough to get this Terrorblade in the fight, and you can start to look aggressively. The question is, can you catch anything on this map? Like, this just feels a little slow to just try and smoke and look for random heroes right now.
Full out Parasma done for the puck. The damage is pretty intense for this puck now. I don't know how the Death Prophet possibly lives through this. Like, no matter how, it's pretty much you have to get the initiation. There is no way I think they get initiated on and it's a winning fight. Maybe they trade a little bit, but I think it's always going to favor one win.
Yes, I mean, your options are jumping one win first, or like I said, just being super ready to counter initiate when that DP gets jumped and goes down, because I think you can win a fight in this game with Zeal dying. Like, you don't need the DP to survive the fight to win the fight, but you have to get enough done while he's going down.
What's that is like for you? They make it like blink punch. Oh man, and well, there goes that.
But not like this, I'll tell you that much.
Prophet, BKB, Doom is probably still going to take him out. Good Death Ward on the side though by Celery between the
he got Glimmer.
Maybe she actually lives. Though Munkushi coming in through the side, forms through, and he just picked up his Butterfly suit. He is strong, already turns into a meta TB, puts the damage onto Celery, brings him down. Now between the TB and the Tiny Tiny being a little separated here. Dream is getting isolated, does manage to get off into the Sunder, but the team all in, Triple S helps him with the stun, and they take away that Aegis. Now on melee form. The Tiny is still lurking on the side here. Force staff down to low ground. Good play there from Abed helps him with an avalanche here, but there's just no saving him. There are too many stuns, too much mobility on the side of One Win. Once they've won the fight, they will hunt you down. You can't get away from them.
Yeah, triple blink dagger between the Puck, the Willow, and the Doom. Plus a drum on that Doom. There's a lot of chase in this lineup, and of course the mobility, like you said, between the Puck and the Morphling. Once you're locked in that cage, it's really tough to get out, and I think the target prioritization there from One Win is, once again, absolutely on point. You land the Doom initiation on the DP. We've seen this before. Now, MOUZ do have some utility to bail him out here, which makes a big difference because it means you have to recommit. But that Terrorize landed on the Terrorblade during the sequence means Dream can't sit there and kill people for the 3 or 4 seconds where he needed him to. And so you get to free reinitiation on that DP, you finish him off, you kill the supports, and now it's just easy kiting mode. Like, you don't have enough lockdown here between the 2 cores left to take this kind of long-lasting fight, even with a Sunder on the Morphling. Like, it's just not close.
Nope, not close at all. And it looks like I missmoked. The butterfly wasn't even done from Mancucci. I know he was really close to it leading to that fight, so he, I'm sure, has to have it now. Going back in real time, though, MOUZ do manage to get a pick off on support Enchantress. So they're still trying to be aggressive. They're not playing all defense.
And they have their BKBs. That's BKB done for Ovid, BKB done for Zeal, like we saw. They have quad Essence Ring. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. That is...
oh, man.
That is a lot of Essence Ring action. A lot of healing, which... I mean, you are up against a lineup that's going to build anti-healing anyway, right? Like, You're looking at Scotty for the Morphling, you're looking at Shivas for the Doom. These are natural item buildups because you're against this Terrorblade who might go lifesteal at some point. You're against the Death Prophet in particular. You're against Witch Doctor heal. It's a minor bonus here. And here's another heads-up push for MOUZ. As Zeal is getting chunked to half HP. This does not look good for them.
Start to things already.
He's losing versus the neutrals,
jump this time, though. Instead, it's going to be that Tiny. Ahmed. Silence on him. Coil gonna get thrown out.
They got 2 on him again.
Almost on his option, but instead he gets punched up. And Zeal is doomed now, but the exorcism is already out. Between that and the meta, the meta actually is expired here. So Dream, let's see what he can get done in melee form, because he's matched up against Mancucci, who's just marching forward with his own metamorphosis, trying to focus on the Death Prophet. Does have enough damage. Waveform's over to the side, chasing after MOUZ as they try and exit out the back door. A TP away from the Tiny will make it through. The Terrorblade also gets out successfully. Honestly, it's obviously still a great team fight for One Win, but I'm surprised they did not manage to kill the Tiny or Terrorblade there.
I mean, so much as the Doom did not get the Doom off. I thought he got it off initially. He had like the full cast animation. He got canceled at the last second by Cask, which is not often. Cask bails you out of that situation.
True, yeah.
But then it begs the question for, if you're MOUZ, if you're not winning that fight, this game's looking real tough. That's about his best initiation wipes we've seen from them, counteracting this initial Doom jump. You get some life and value out of the DP, but now you have a bigger problem in this game, which is this Morphling. Mancucci's just scaling out of control. Like, you do not have good answers for the Morphling, especially if the jumps are not coming from the Tiny, which feels impossible at this point. There's too many heroes that can just run in frontline. Like, you're happy to sacrifice an Enchantress or a Dark Willow to give Morphling a free fight at this point. And he is just shredding your team with these Terrorblade steals. Like, they are... It is not something you can deal with. This is a really good Terrorblade game for One Win, if you think about it. Like, he gets to play the reflection, the illusions into a Death Prophet, into a Tiny. These are heroes that traditionally were not that great of matchups versus the Terrorblade. So he's kind of using this pick against MOUZ themselves.
Yeah, true.
And it's doing some work. Doing some real work here. You get the Scotty on this guy. He feels untouchable. Too much HP to burst on the jump, and nobody can sit there and man fight him. And what is your control for Morphling?
And it feels like that is never really going to change. Like MOUZ would have to extend this game a really long time, and I think one win would always be favored, basically.
Especially with the position the puck's in. I mean, this puck is 8-0 and 11. Like, he's an absolute beast right now. Octarine done. The Parasma we saw finished earlier, he's already level 20. Like, these cores are just scaling like monsters, and Ovid did not have the game on this tiny that MOUZ needed him to. It's not entirely his fault. It's just the early skirmishing and the runes and everything did not go their way, and they are feeling it now because he's the one hero that can maybe give you a chance to bring these cores down. If his game is not good enough to do that, well, now you're just getting pushed down. One win saying, we do not need an Aegis to take your high ground. We don't even need this Scotty on the board. And damage, we're just going to go.
I'm not putting the blame on you here, but I'm just saying, I think every single time that we've talked about Abed, and you said, I have a lot of faith in this guy, he's really good, etc., etc., they lose, and they lose pretty bad. So,
okay, well,
maybe it's time to stop having so much faith in Abed.
Yeah, so I should just say this guy sucks. He's going to lose horribly, and then he'll
I'm just
go
saying,
10-0.
Don't put your eggs in the Abed basket. That's all. Just don't go out there and curse him like that. Squadix, try and get that initiation. Do manage a good toss into Walrus Punch into a phase shift. Man, that's like a situation you did everything right. You maybe could have changed it slightly better. It's just the fact that you're just too far behind. This puck has too much. He's too high a level. He has too many items. He's actually too tough for you to bring down, despite exercising the chain stun correctly.
They needed the Terrorblade hits to get in there sooner.
Yeah.
If Kutka cuts a little faster and they synchronize that, that is a kill. It's a very tough kill to get, but that's a gem puck. Could have been a game changer here, especially with Roche back on the map. And this is a Roche that one win are not going to be afraid to walk in the pit with this Morphling and just start chipping out and force the action.
Yeah. It seems like MOUZ entirely have a good idea of that. That's why they're positioned up in the top lane. That's why they're pushing so aggressively into the tower, because they know one win's just going to play for Roshan here. So they can get a decent amount done. They position themselves well on the map to min-max the situation. Almost getting the kill on puck. Might be able to get this tier 3 before the team comes back in time. Oh no! Doom out on the cut. Triple S sets it up, stun, and so much damage just between the two of them. Hey, they didn't even really need the puck. He was already dead.
It's just two heroes bringing your Terrorblade down while you're doing the Roshan for free.
Yeah.
And you get the BKB out of that tiny. You lost a good chunk of your tier 3 tower, but hey, that is well worth it there. Now, I was just about to say, I mean, that is one thing you can do with this MOUZ lineup, is you can kind of threaten the split push a little and try and stall this game out. Go ultra late with like 6 slots on all of your cores, some hex actions, some tiny crazy physical burst action, but I don't think one win are going to give you the time to get there. This is a Aegis that can absolutely just end this game.
Yeah, we've also seen one win. I think they've tackled that problem pretty well. Just little things like Sweden Strong running around using his Bedlam to kill Terrorblade illusions, right? Like, that's going to be their biggest source of split push. So if you just stop his illusions from being able to push out the lanes, then you're kind of kicking that to the curb right away. And MOUZ is going to be left in a defensive situation. One win are going to take the first lane of barracks for free, it seems, and there's still plenty of time left on that Aegis.
This is cruising towards a very solid game 1 victory here and close this one out. And it's hard to see a world where it goes wrong.
No pollen bags on one win. Just the one on
one is not bad
this
for
item
him.
was going to be picked up a little bit more. Like, I thought there was going to be one per team. Not every game, but like, you know, relatively often. But maybe it's not that impactful.
I think this item's really strong. The limiting factor is the cast range. I think for a lot of heroes they'd rather just have better positioning in the fight and make sure they survive or get spells off. This item doesn't help you do any of that, and it's dependent on, do you have extra cast range like Aether Lens or you know, an innate ability or something. And like even here on Celery, right? For him to go in and pollen bag somebody, I don't know how realistic that is. Like maybe you do. Maybe you're just a god and you get in there, but
he's gonna blink and he's gonna blink, pollen bag, and then voodoo switcheroo.
Yeah, except he doesn't have blink and he doesn't have the shard. So
yeah, but he's building to it. You know, he's got that idea in mind.
Yeah, you know, he's only like 4,000 gold and a dream away from making the big plays. Ags done for Squadix. Holy moly, someone is dying to this guy. Like, there's no way you can win a fight in this game without people dying anymore as MOUZ. I don't know if you can win the fight, but somebody's dying for sure. You're gonna have to land some really clutch hacks off the stuff.
Oh no, he tried to clear the creep wave and go for a blink back off the snowball, but his number has been had pretty much the entire time by Squadix. Squadix has got him more times with the silence and coil than the snowball has managed to save him from the coil, so.
We've seen why this puck pick was just really difficult on this support duo.
Toss back on the fun. Do manage to get the stuns immediately, so they have a chance to evacuate this Aegis. It takes a little while though, and Triple S already got his initiation. It's going to result in the death of the Tiny. Resetting here, the Morphling just able to wait for him out. Triple S, they snowball him, shard block him in. They do manage to get that kill, so decent initiation here from MOUZ. It's still trading off heroes. But maybe it's enough? Probably not.
You lost Orbit to the puck morphling damage here. Your meta's about to wear out. You can just continue the siege if you want. And you just got a hex done on your Dark Will. I mean, there's just too much gold in the bank right now. This mid game just got out of control. Like, needed more snowball action. And it feels like another game where the first pick Death Prophet, it gets counterpicked and don't see the presence being enough to justify it, or the other picks making up for it. Like even here, right, your BKB siphoning, but it's not doing enough. Too far behind.
Beautiful coil. Good cut already down to half HP, and now the Morphling has his hands on him. He's gonna die. Even if he gets off the Sunder somehow on some hero in that situation, he probably just dies anyway. Probably just gets HP back and then gets beaten down by the Morphling. There's really nothing stopping Monkushi or Squadix at this point.
Those early kills on the Terrorblade as well. Yeah. Really set him back in this matchup, right? Like, he gets his Butterfly now, but he didn't get to aggressively use it, whereas Monkushi did get to aggressively use his Zeal dieback. That's a rough one.
Honestly, a little surprised MOUZ hasn't called GG yet. Snowball.
Oh, there it is. They called it for you.
There we go. Thank you.
And it was Abed, you know, the good old NA player. He's like, I know when it's over. Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. I mean, this game is over. You just get outscaled here. Like, I don't think your lineup really wins this late game 9 times out of 10. Yeah, they were done. They weren't even ahead in the mid game. That's the downside.